Atishay, let's talk about financial markets now. Everyone from Alan Greenspan to Warren Buffett has been warning about the potential bubble in the Chinese stock market. Share prices have gone up by maybe 5 times in the last 2 years. Are you as worried about overvalued shares in China as so many people outside of the country seem to be?
Yeah, I think Chinese stock market is a bubble, but it is not as big as people think. The stock market capitalization is about 40 trillion renminbi, and compared to the economy, about 24. So it's 160% of GDP. Is not small, but the liquid part, at least the part available to Chinese households, is only 10 trillion. So that part, 10 trillion, is probably overvalued by about 100 to 150%. So if the market can get halved, but it's only 5 trillion, it's about 20% of GDP. It's when the bubble bursts, it's equivalent to the U.S. stock market come down by 15%. So in that regard, the impact is small. The other is that Chinese people actually do not spend the money like Americans when asset prices go up. They don't go out to borrow money because they see their asset value rising. So the overconsumption part due to a high asset price is relatively small. So in a way, Chinese stock market is very much like a casino. It's a redistribution story. The real economic impact when it bursts is relatively small.
So even with this extraordinary boom in the last 2 years, you don't think that that's had any direct impact on the economy yet?
It's had an effect on luxury consumption. For example, demand for luxury cars, for luxury products like LV bags, quite significant. But in terms of for at retail sales level and for hypermart, for supermarket, and even for low-end cars, I'm not sure that the stock market has had such a big impact.
But if there was a big crash in the Chinese stock market, wouldn't there be a lot of disgruntled middle-class shareholders, and wouldn't that be a potentially big political problem for the government?
Yeah, I think that this is what I think the political fallout from this bursting could be significant, because this is a very much a redistribution story, and the people who come in last tend to be the most vulnerable part of the society, like retirees or laid-off workers and so forth. I think this is the part that we need to worry a lot about. I think that what some government officials think that because the government has become so rich, right? They have a huge budget surplus. The government has got these massive assets, like the stock market. 2/3 belong to the government, so they're very rich. So some government officials say, when the bubble bursts, people demonstrate, the government just will find some money and give some to them, and they will go home. So that's how they look at this situation.
And what sort of impact has the stock market boom had on the corporate sector? Has it increased the competitiveness of companies a lot? Or actually, have a lot of companies been so busy playing the stock market themselves that they haven't been concentrating on their core businesses?
Yeah, I think that the stock market boom, this is the part that worries most, is to distract the attention of business from improving competitiveness. Some companies have even stopped doing their regular business, focusing on stock market speculation, reporting massive profit increase from capital gains. I think that part worries me a lot.
Now, Andy, in the past you've warned about property bubbles in China, especially here in Shanghai. Are we seeing some of this money that's flowing from bank deposits going to the stock market? Are we seeing some of that money going to the property market? And are we seeing new bubbles developing in the property sector?
Yeah, I think the property market is much more serious than the stock market. When the market comes down, it would cause bad debts. Last time, the property cycle in the 90s, the property price came down by 65%. It caused a 40% bad debt ratio in the banking system. But this time, the government did act early. The banking system's exposure to the property sector is 20%, according to the central bank. I think probably it's higher than that. It's probably 30%. So nevertheless, I think that even if the half of that goes bad, still it's manageable because banks are making a lot of money now. It will cause the economy to slow down by 2 to 3%. I think that the economy will go through an adjustment when the property market comes down. Probably not as bad as 10 years ago, but still it's going to be a rough patch.
So you think the stock market is overvalued? Do you think the Chinese property is overvalued? For our viewers watching today, What should they think about investing in China if they do want to take advantage of the boom in the Chinese economy?
I think Chinese currency is undervalued. It's for that reason that the stock market and property market are overvalued. The right approach is still to buy things that Chinese people want and need or desire as their income grows. I'm quite interested in luxury goods, and I think the Chinese preference for luxury brands tends to be pretty high, like Japan. So I think some luxury companies I have liked a lot. And also I want people to look at the nuclear power. I think that China is going nuclear big time. And nuclear technology, unlike others, is very much about safety. So Chinese government will be very careful about experimenting this stuff themselves. So they will be quite dependent on imports. It's very similar to airplanes. And I think that you don't have to be in China really to benefit from China's growth story. Chinese asset market has big cycles. So when the next cycle comes down, the people should not think that China is crashing, let's forget about China. Actually, that will be the buying opportunity.